significant number live in cities. Cities have attracted people, and in Uruguay, 75% of people live in urban centers. And you see that cities are the main drivers of change and innovation. But at the same time, there's a very important challenge because they are the issues of a very significant quantity of greenhouse gases. So technology on cities is very significant and very important part of technology in a general sense. And people who work in technology have suffer the weight of political decisions. We have to think of cities and what happens in the world in which we live at the moment. So I don't have the time to enter into details, but these are books that are interesting and a reflection of the society in which we live. The first one from Bauman, which speaks about the liquid world, how strategies and paradigms have changed. And we are happy because technology has allowed us to do a lot of things, but also there is a change of paradigms and there is a lot of insecurities. Time has changed too. In the real world and the digital world, we see interaction between both, and we live in both at the same time. And we also have to think of communications through mobile devices. This kind of communications has also altered our patterns. So we have to reflect on how the world is changing, how we adapt to this changing world, and at the same time, although we have many possibilities, I won't say figures, but we have to think of how much time we spend in the digital world. This has a very positive aspect. We can be in touch with people around us who share the same interests no matter where they are. But the negative aspect on which we have to be critical is that we stop seeing realities and we stop listening to people who don't think like us because we live in bubbles with the people who think like us. But this is the world in which we live, a world that is changing, that is full of opportunities, that is changing very quickly. This is a study of the University of Salamanca. The reputation that we create in the virtual way,
which they have about us, becomes very important. And we are based on those requirements. This means that people start using different parameters. If we think about this world and how to generate new ideas, we no longer have the monopoly of those who managed information. I think information is everywhere. This is an analysis of Spain, which is so much in a convulsion at the present time. How can people work and manage social networks and relate? The world is disruptive. The world we live in is disruptive. There are so many things and there are so many disruptions. Digitalization, demonetarization, deception, disruption, dematerialization, democratization. Everything changes, even the way we work. In 5 years' time, we will be working in a very different way. Things will change radically, and that is also our responsibility. About a month ago, this is a fintech startup in technology. It was accepted in Sweden as a bank. It has full banking license, and it's a fintech at the level of platforms. It gives out loans, it handles the payroll, but it works like a bank, and it's simply a platform. So this is very much a disruption. This is a reality, and it exists for a month. Nikolas talked about AI and how much it will change. We need to be ready for that. But when we look at all these things, there are other challenges in the world, in cities, very different challenges that the UN, for example, it's a very global organization, and it has 17 development objectives for the year 2030. And we need to focus somehow. We need to focus on the end of poverty, zero hunger, health and well-being, quality education, equality in gender, clean water, sanitation, access to energy. These are all elements we need to focus on. Our technology needs to focus there because this will ensure a better quality of life for everybody. And here we see so many opportunities. Of the 169 goals, 90 correspond to cities. So we have challenges and we have opportunities. Many times technology does not consider these areas as opportunities. And cities are attractive. People come massively to cities because they are the place where things happen. And you can enjoy the culture, you can innovate, you can do things. Cities pose a challenge, they attract. Now, this is Vienna. It says a city focused on people. That is a challenge. Cities should make the quality of life of citizens the best possible. And this is a challenge that we have. If you look at a smart city, you will find that there is technology, collaborative city, sustainable city, creative city, innovative, and a city that is responsible and uses technology responsibly. They also personalize and use big data and provide more information and clarity. The city personalizes according to sex, age, and we can really implement policies that are well defined. Cities also provide opportunities for opinions to be exchanged. Here we have young people, very young people, debates, innovation labs, many activities. Montevideo is doing many of these activities, and this allows people to share opinions, like children can share opinions. We know. Next time we should bring a group of children talking about GeneXus because children are very fresh. They have very fresh ideas and they see things we are not aware of. So children, young people need to give their opinion, voice their needs in a city. In Montevideo, we have Montevideo as an experimentation platform. When we say that innovation has to do with trial and failure, try, fail, do again, we need to do more about that. You learn by doing. If you make mistakes, you do again until you innovate. That trial and error is a great opportunity. Uruguay, Montevideo as a city has many spaces, has room for opportunity. That can become a platform to experiment biotests. So we have a plan that is open to all of you. We've even had Argentinians to test things here. You can sign an agreement and you can try, you can experiment with new technology and then see if it works for the city. But you can work in the real environment where things happen. This allows synergy because the city hall may help you with ideas. We've had experiments with universities. We improved the cleaning of the city, we improved prototypes, and this type of synergy is very valuable. And what are we doing in Montevideo? In Montevideo, we notice that most of this technology is very easy to acquire. BioT is installed, it's easy to work with sensors. The city has many aspects to be monitored, and we are working to generate a governance center in the city. We have a prototype for traffic lights, and we have management for those traffic lights. This is a center. We contact with the Ministry of Interior, and we read and share information. This allows for many, many things. You can count the number of vehicles, you can recognize car plates, you can check those that are being wanted by the police, we can warn the police. So this center counts the number of vehicles in traffic, and we have different layers of information for this governance platform. This is geo-referenced because all that happens in the city is geo-referenced, and we have made some progress. We have monitored all the buses in Montevideo every 20 seconds. We know where they are. Also, the garbage collection trucks, we know every 20 seconds where they are. We can geo-reference the circuits. We have sensors for UV rays, and we think that by this summer we will report radiation to the citizens so they know whether to use sunblock or not. We monitor air quality in 3 different points in Montevideo. We have sensors for sanitation so that we can close and open gates for the fluids to pass through. So in a year, we have installed different sensors thanks to the new technology. And there are still so many others we could install. We are simply checking waste collection with sensors, also the landfills, also sensors for noise volume in the city. So this is very easy to install, and this generates data. As Nikolas said, we know when to use it. In other cases, we might use it in future, but we are now collecting data. So apart from having this geo-reference, we have another very useful tool that allows us to grow very quickly. We have a smart city platform. It's called Fiber. It's used in the city. It's an open platform, and it was devised to integrate other components easily. It has 19 components. It has many different components, tools that allow us to work with sensors very quickly. We have the counter broker that can manage the situation, and then we store the data to analyze further on.
The interesting thing is all this is working already at the municipal governments of Montevideo building, and we are learning through all this. It's a big learning experience. It's working, and it's allowing us to offer a series of services. This is the technology that is unseen and that is behind what you see. When we look at a map, for example, and you see the shallow in real time, or you have here a picture of the monitoring center. And something interesting, cooperation. We are cooperation with the Ministry of the Interior, and we are not repeating the same tasks. We have to work in cooperation, mixing technologies and interoperating. Another one of the activities is to mount on this technology 7,000 lights for the streets with sensors, and until the telephone company is also promising to include their collaboration in this platform. So these are important platforms. And there are many entrepreneurs that have used this platform and have contributed with solutions. We still have a lot to do, and we invite them to continue cooperating with us. We have carried out a first data analysis, although this is very recent. We have analyzed the bus routes, and we have informed the companies of the delays with regard to the actual time in which the service should have been offered. The theoretical time, the deviation and a deviation margin, in order to adapt the transport service to the schedule they have agreed with the municipal government. And they also have the challenge of comparing the number of people that take the bus at a certain point of time with their expectations. So this is a very interesting topic, and we have worked with algorithms that allow us to know the moment when a person gets on the bus and gets off the bus, which was something we were unable to do in the past. In the old city, for example, we have been able to measure how much time a person spends on the bus from the moment she buys the ticket. And we gather all this data, and then we see how we're going to use them. But once you have the information, you start finding useful things of doing with it. To do with it. And the Catholic University, for example, has approached us in order to work with us. And we have also worked with ANI, the innovation agency in Uruguay, also in charge of investigations and research. We have a problem with transport in Montevideo. It's not good, it has many shortcomings. So what happens if instead of going to the traditional bus companies to see what solutions they can offer us, we say, well, this could be an opportunity for many, because the tickets are issued with machines that are very expensive that we have to renew. And what if instead of buying new ones to sell the tickets, we are open to innovation? We think, what do we have to solve? We have to see how tickets are sold, but also we have to improve the quality of life of the people. So we opened a tender, 24 companies presented their proposals, and now we are going to select one that is going to receive $100,000 as a prize, and they are going to propose new technology on buses to use on buses in order to improve users' experience. In a few days, we are going to announce the winners. They will receive $100,000, and we will see what prototype they can offer us. This is one more example of how you can experiment in a city. Instead of buying the devices, these sensors from a big factory in Europe, we can think on new ways of innovating in our own country and also using the money in a more efficient way. Intelligent cities create opportunities for people to develop and develop technology, even more so in an environment like ours. So this is a project that we have underway. This is something we have been doing for the last year and a half, but we want more. We want to continue thinking in an innovative way, and we are open to ideas, proposals, suggestions on how to continue innovating in the city in order to improve people's lives. Another project that has been very interesting and which was difficult to launch is the following. In 2019, 2020, there will be a lot of work in the city, and this creates difficulties. The Italia Avenue will be interrupted, and this will cause a lot of problems. So we have to think of alternatives. We have been analyzing data and paying attention to social networks, analyzing feelings and ideas, and we have opened also a tender that will be awarded soon, and we are hiring a company to put together the municipal governance database with other databases and work with other companies and this will allow us to cooperate so that we can communicate faster with the citizens. We have called this project digital closeness. We are using the networks to find out what the citizens feel and think and to give an automatic response to their needs and to use a lot of information that is available. So far, the projects on which we have been working, but we have to look ahead. Next year, for example, we will start working on automatic vehicles. We are in touch with Helsinki, analyzing their experience with automatic vehicles, and this may take longer in our country, but we want to start anyway, experiment with vehicles that have the capacity to communicate with traffic lights, for example. This is a product that can be used maybe sooner than we expect. We analyze the components of the cars, and maybe we will start with ambulances or cars that belong to public services, which will probably get messages from traffic lights, or which may send messages, for example, to a traffic light saying, I am transporting someone who is sick, I need the green light. So the communication between the objects and the vehicles and the people who are driving or who are going on foot. This is a technology that is already offering sub-products that are very interesting to explore. But these are projects we are still envisaging. We have not launched them yet. And finally, blockchain and IoT and what they can bring together. This is very important for moving objects, transportation, logistics, etc. This is a $100 million project, and it concerns the food chain provision, the food chain and the provision of food in Montevideo, like the market called Modelo, and we are trying to propose technology so that this market will not only be a physical space, but will also allow traceability of foodstuff in Montevideo. We believe that there will be a lot of possibilities that will be very interesting for the future. So in 2018, we are going to start launching these projects with new ideas, and you are more than invited to cooperate with us. I remember when Steve Crocker came to Montevideo and he made a presentation, and we perceived at that time that Internet developed because there was a lot of cooperation between people that had this feeling of cooperation. And nowadays, cities cannot be built from a desk. In these times, we need a lot of collaboration. There are many developments in the world that are based on cooperation between companies, and we need the academia, the civil society, the cities, because this is how we are going to benefit from this moment in time. So we need the cooperation of the universities and of other partners. So it's a world of challenges and opportunities. So we first have to figure out where we are. The NASA images show how people are attracted by cities, and Latin America does not appear in photos at all. It's much easier to see North America or Europe in the photos. But this is a world in which we live, a world that offers a lot of opportunities for us, even if we are at the bottom of the picture. And I compare Uruguay with the rest of the world, and there are people thinking of moving to Mars. Well, we still don't think about building in Mars, but we mustn't forget these possibilities. And this is us. Finally, I would like to congratulate you all, because in this world where time is short, dedicating these days to think, to open your minds, to envisage new possibilities should make us all proud, because you are sharing ideas and you are ready to share and to listen. Thank you very much.